We're at Friends of Search today, and I would like to welcome Fili and Kaspar. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You presented on 2 different sessions, one about disavowing your best practices on penalties, and the other one was the Q&A. What was the best question of the Q&A today?
I suppose it was really refreshing to hear the question why we left Google in the first place. That one doesn't come across that often, at least not anymore. Fili?
No, that was a good one.
Yeah. Otherwise, the technical ones we hear a lot.
Yeah, I can reconcile it because I've been at one of your presentations before at Brighton SEO. Yeah. So what was the best answer to the question? Why did you leave Google?
For myself, as I mentioned before, a bunch of reasons really, personal as well as professional. One major reason for me to make the move obviously was getting out of the comfort zone professionally. And rejoin with Fili on something completely new, yet in a way, where we took on a little bit to some extent and continued working together, where we left off about half a year or a year before that.
About a year.
Yeah, we basically get really well along together. I think we're very productive, and this is something I was really looking forward to.
And was it a natural decision to get into SEO, or did you also consider any other opportunities like, I don't know, business intelligence? I don't know what your real background is, sorry.
Well, for myself, it's information science. I did consider, obviously, my options as well in that regard. I think it's this reasonable thing to do. It's just normal to go that path, and it's nice to have several opportunities. That said, both of us, we developed in a way over the years where we grew a little bit of visibility in the industry. And pretty much the moment that I was about to move on and leave the company, the next day there was people knocking at the door and asking whether there would be an opportunity for consulting. So it was an easy choice in the end, and a very happy one too on top of that.
But a quick thing there as well, while he was still at Google, like we worked pretty much the same time at Google for almost the same duration. The only difference is I started slightly earlier.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I thought you left Google earlier than
but
Kaspar.
I also started earlier, so I got a little bit extra that he didn't get, and on the other hand, he got a little bit extra at the end that I didn't get. So it really complements each other. While he was still at Google, I was still also working with a couple of other ex-Googlers, a couple of friends of mine, and we were actually trying a startup as well in Berlin, doing mostly programming based. So I did, although I did SEO at the same time, I also did I worked 60% of my time basically on programming as well. So I did consider also alternatives next to SEO. And I still like programming, I still do it a lot.
I agree on that.
I suppose bottom line, to answer your question, is one of the biggest benefits that we could personally take away from our Google experience was not only the expertise that we grew over time, but getting to know the right people that you can collaborate with, and some of whom became actually lifelong friends. So that was one of the biggest
That's one of the things I want to add on, because sometimes I hear about you guys because you speak at a lot of conferences around the world and across Europe. Some people see you guys as like you've been at Google, so you know all the stuff, like how it should work. But how do you feel that people could see you like from also from a negative perspective? Like you guys know your stuff about Google, so you probably are the best SEOs in town. Or do you see any difference between like normal agencies where most people have been into Google?
I presume it's an asset to have seen things both from a web spam perspective and from a consultant perspective, so that's a little bit of an asset in my book. I don't really feel, and I never received that feedback. Actually, you're the first person to bring that topic up as in terms of a negative spin.
No, I wasn't completely negative too.
And let's say a constructive concern. It hasn't been so far a topic. We obviously don't do particular techniques. We don't really endorse any kind of black hat techniques.
No, I want to be clear that I wasn't also aiming not at that kind of tactics, of course.
Right.
So you've mentioned before that you still got a lot of the same questions that you heard before. What do you hope to hear in the next couple of years, that kind of questions? Because I think most of the things that rolled out from Google have been in your time, were already developed in your time at Google, I guess. You probably can't say that if that's true, maybe.
We can't say much about that, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, one of the things is, it never surprises me how many new products come on the market, how much the internet is in flux. And one of the unique experiences when we were at Google was most definitely, how you are at the front line of the internet. There is literally almost no other company, as far as I can see, that is literally has to be on top on so many different developments. And that isn't just developments on like, okay, who builds a great app or something like that. It even comes down to like the self-driven cars things, or the mortality rates, some of the things Mark has also talked about. Those things are real issues. You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys that Google is by far probably the best capable of becoming such technologies. The final question, what do you expect from Google to be the new like driver from search perspective? Like Matt Cutts talked a lot about guest posting lately, that the web spam team will come after guest posting.
Which is not new.
No, of course not. It's definitely not new. It's been around for a while, but besides guest posting...
The key thing there is to keep in mind that the guest posting is just another... it's just a hype that came up because people thought like, hey, we might get away with this. Everyone knew already the moment that, hey, we might get away with this is, okay, it's going to break someday. You know, everyone from there. The thing is, before it was a hype, the same policies for linking were already in place within the webmaster guidelines of don't do it for unnatural link building. And if you call it guest posting, or if you call it directory submissions, or if you call it something else, it doesn't really matter. It all comes down to the same link guidelines, linking guidelines from Google. So
I definitely agree with you on that. And we'll have to end it there. Thanks so much, guys, for spending the time and being here at Friends of Search. Thanks for watching this video, and please check out our other videos on Friends of Search, and hopefully see you next year.